Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Gutierrez. For those of y'all who don't know me, we want to thank everybody for joining us today as we conclude our Disney Innovations and Leadership program. This is their graduation today, and these students have put in a lot of work for their presentations, going through the sessions, and we're excited to see your thoughts. So a little program overview. We met twice a month for 2-hour sessions, and they typically were on Friday. And at the end of our program, we had a capstone trip to Walt Disney World, and it went from February 8th through the 13th. My role in this was a little bit different this year because Shannon let me be more hands-on, and I got to teach a couple of sessions. Since my degree lies with innovation, I got to teach on innovation, the 5 keys, a recipe for owning the service moment, and then acknowledging the work of others. So those are the couple sessions that I got to teach on. This is our 3rd year doing the Innovations and Leadership program, and we're constantly seeking improvements. And one of the recommendations that Shannon and I talked about was implementing some books. So we did Who's the Leader of the Club and then Lessons from the Mouse, and we coincide our programming and planning according to chapters in these books that students had to read. And they're really short chapters, like 3 or 4 pages long, so it wasn't too much reading.
So, as I mentioned to some of you earlier, the 5 keys were our framework this year that Lisa and I developed the curriculum around. Disney has had 4 keys since its inception years and years ago. In the last couple of years, though, they added a 5th key, which was the inclusion key. So we chose these because they apply to everything we do here. So it was an easy way for the students to use this as their lens also on the trip. They were able to look and see through each one of the keys that they chose they wanted to do the presentation on and experience Disney, and then bring that back again to share what we can do with each one of these keys on our campus. This is a video that kicked off our year, and it talks about the 5 keys and about the addition of the inclusion key. And I really just thought it set the tone beautifully for our program and the students' experience. So I wanted to share that with you.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
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 For over 65 years, we have welcomed guests from all over the world into our home with the help of a simple code. The 4 keys. Safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency have guided us from the very start. These 4 keys have provided a foundation for our culture, contributing to Disney's legacy of customer service and care. But as Walt Disney himself once said, we keep moving forward. And in December 2019, a team of cast members joined together in a series of ideation sessions that spanned time zones and teams. Tasked with bringing a greater focus on inclusivity and belonging for all cast members, they pitched an idea so revolutionary, it was magic from the start. The addition of a 5th key, the key of inclusion. A key that unlocks even more potential within our company by amplifying the others. Because to create a world where everyone belongs, where each person is treated with respect, we must work together to reimagine tomorrow. We are building a Disney with more diverse stories and experiences. A Disney with more accessible products and authentic voices. A Disney where our cultures unite us, not divide us, and where each cast member is empowered to speak up, team up, take action, and ensure equality in every way. The key to unlocking this is working together, because together we can create cultural transformation and allyship to improve the lives of all our cast members and communities for years to come. The key of inclusion, a vision for tomorrow where
All.
每一位
Tous.
Todos.
All.
who come to this happy place are welcome.
perfect framework for our work, perfect framework for this program. So I think going forward, we're going to use the 5 keys during each cohort. A side note, since we're close to commencement time, Dr. Nutt's going to get to experience this next week, but Epcot has their new show, their fireworks show, and at the beginning of it, maybe we can't do it with the fireworks at commencement, but I'd love to do it somehow, where they have, it's in the lagoon and all of the countries are surrounding it, and at the beginning of the show, they shoot off like a single shooting star from each country, and they say welcome in that country's language. It would be so cool to, not with the firework piece, but somehow have that a welcome before we start commencement, things like that.
It was really cool.
Yeah,
really,
it's
really
awesome.
cool.
So anyway, again, this directly relates to our student experience work, where we're creating belonging, creating connections, just like this company is doing. And again, it lends itself beautifully to our work and what we're trying to do, where everyone belongs and everyone feels comfortable. So we had confirmation that we chose wisely with this when we watched, you can go ahead, one of our students' daily vlogs. They had to do a daily vlog in the park. Surprise! After each session, they had to do a vlog before they left the park, about that day's session, about their experience in the park, about their experience with cast members, what they learned that day. And so
What they learned in sessions.
Mm-hmm. So we learned, we watched Juliana's, and we was like, oh, they got it. So it's really great, and this is her last day overall experience video that she did, so I want you to enjoy it.
Woohoo, Juliana.
Hi, it's Juliana. This is our last day for the Disney trip. As you can see, I got my little ears today. So I would say that it has been a pretty successful trip. I've seen cast members following every single thing that we've learned over the last 3 days, as well as the 5 keys. So I thought that it was really, really fun. My favorite thing that I've really seen is there's been a lot of teamwork in telling the story. So I think it's really emphasized that these things are, I guess, they're not independent of each other. Every single thing that we learned is going to have to be continually worked on, and it fits together like one big piece of a puzzle. Leadership isn't just one and done. It's something that you really need to keep progressing and keep trying to do. And I'm really hoping that I can implement that sort of thing at Tomball, because I think that a lot of the time, especially with education for 2-year places, it gets very much, trying to think how to phrase this, it very much becomes a one and done. Once you're done with your however many years you're there, you don't need to do it anymore. And so I really want to kind of implement that idea of continually learning and growing, and how everybody's experiences really mesh together to create one big welcoming family.
Woohoo.
So she did a really great job with that. Anyway, it's been a magical year. I'm sorry, I'm a crybaby.
Oh my gosh, Shannon.
I'm a crybaby. At least I always
It's
said that.
just showing that the work that Shannon and I are doing is really paying off, because we teach them the 5 keys. We teach them why the keys are important in the order that they are in. So it's just really cool just to see our hard work pay off. So
Safety is the first key. It's always the first key. It's the most important key. That's what Lisa was referring to about the order. But it's been a magical year. This group is great. They've learned a lot. They're amazing presenters. I'm excited for you to hear them share their work with you that they put into this. Thank you all again for coming. And our first group, as we mentioned, is going to be safety. And they'll go in the order of the keys to the rest of the presentation. So again, thank you guys for coming.
oh,
Okay, we are safety. My name is Paige,
I'm Diana.
and this is our safety project of our key. So, of course, safety first, always foremost. Safety is the first key for a reason, and that reason is you can't continue your work without implementing safety, such as going to your car or going to the grocery store. You have to always be safe and make sure about your surroundings. But not only that, when it comes to rides, what are you doing? Being safe. You have to always be safe. If you haven't got safety in your place as a foundation, guests won't feel safe. That is another reason. And safety is a good way to make sure people feel like they're welcome in a way, making sure that they feel like they can be around these strangers. So safety is a good thing to have. Role modeling safety behaviors is another thing that Disney also shares. They have their employees and their staff members consistently showing safety by demonstrating ways to get on and off rides, how to travel safely, and how to work your ways around Disney.
They not only like practice this safety into just guests, they also do it with each other. So let's say somebody's not feeling well, they don't make them go and work because, I mean, it's not going to follow through everything. You know, they could start crying or they get hurt. So, yeah. Okay, these are some pictures I personally took. This one right here is, you see Rapunzel being hooked onto the little ship thing that they had and just in case if she was to fall or anything, they had her really suited in there. And then we have a waterfall on this part right here, and they have it closed with like a gate just in case like small children tend to like run, you know. And we were in the safari in Africa. This was in Animal Kingdom. And you see how like the little cart that we were in, it was like so lifted to the point where animals couldn't really reach us as much. And they told us to keep our hands in and, you know, don't disturb the animals. But this is like in every single ride, there was somebody telling us to pull on our belts just in case, you know, to check if we are suited in. And for safety, like for people that are in wheelchairs and stuff like that, they put them in like this type of rail where they can safely come down from the monorails.
So the ways that Disney has demonstrated safety is by anti-sitting devices, such as here. They have these ridges, and as you can clearly see, there's a lake, and who knows what's in there. So, of course, if you're tired of walking, you want to sit your butt down somewhere, a wall maybe, and it's an anti-sitting device so we don't fall and be silly. Another way was, this is a picture I took on Tron. They demonstrate how to access the ride by 2 different ways. If you were to get on ride 1, of course, go ahead. But if you're going to go on ride 2, you have to go around it, and otherwise you might fall, break your neck. Who knows? Gotta stay safe, am I saying? Another way is to demonstrate how to get on Tron. They show how you're supposed to access the ride, and they have an example of their the ride basically, of how you're supposed to access it. Yes, and so they allow you to see if you're comfortable. Maybe you have like a problem and maybe you can't fit. You know, it happens. They also demonstrate instructions on how to access the ride safely, as I said, communicating with other cast members. By communicating, they want to make sure, such as like the Indiana Jones show, they want to make sure, and they have said this, that we have to make sure all cast members are mentally healthy and physically healthy. A cold, no go. Get home, be careful, like stay safe. Otherwise, without one cast member, the entire show can't go on. And so that's why safety always comes first, especially making sure not only cast members, but if something were to happen, such as maybe the rock that's tumbling down, kill someone. Yeah, happens. Keeping it clean, they make sure like janitorial things are taken care of and they're hidden. You never see it, and I think that's so cool. Surprisingly, we found one. We have a picture. Whoa. Science to different parks, that's also very necessary because otherwise, where are we going? It's a giant world of Disney. So that's a good way of keeping things safe in case maybe you're lost, you have to figure out your way home. And what is it? Ride switch service. So the ride switch service is when you have children and they want to get on this kiddie ride and you want to be able to allow your children to get on this ride, but it may not fit your adult self, or you don't want to get on because it's a kiddie ride. And so they allow you to stand guard and watch your kids and maybe even switch your kids out. Say if you have two and you can't fit two of them, and maybe you have two parents and one parent wants to get on with the kid and the other kid wants to get on with the other parent. So they're allowing that switch service in order for they all to have an equal ride chance. Yeah.
Okay, this is a video. So in this video, maybe it might be hard to hear. So in this video, we were in Africa, so animal kingdom, and as you can see, they have like paddings, since they're creating a tower with themselves, right? Obviously, and well, the guy that was going up there, just in case if any of these fall, they can land on soft padding instead of concrete, where they can hurt each other, like themselves. They also had a person stay on the floor, like on the bottom, just in case something goes wrong, they can catch them or they can do something real quick with it. But this was really cool. I enjoyed watching this.
Really cool.
This is, as you can tell, we did end up taking a picture of somebody cleaning. This is actually Paige right here. They're so well hidden that you can't even notice they're there. I think it just has to involve with them being like in character and in costume and all of that. They blend in.
Mm-hmm.
Every cast member cleans, no matter what your part is. You know, you can be a manager. It doesn't matter. You still clean. We saw like people after the parks were closed. We saw people just cleaning, and it's just everybody, all the cast members clean.
Mm-hmm. Another way is, of course, physical and mental health is always checked on in Disney, like I said about the Indiana Jones show and all that. But not only in the shows, but it's also, I mean, even if they have small but very big jobs, such as janitorial, we always have to make sure that everyone is capable of doing their part. Otherwise, there isn't like a show per se, and there isn't something to be looking forward to. So it's always important to make sure that everyone is well and that they are able to do their part. And then they also have metal detectors. Whew, funny story with that one. At every entrance. You want to tell us, Diana?
Okay, so at every entrance there was metal detectors, obviously, right? And the same people from our group kept on getting held back and searched. Obviously, it was Andrea and Shannon and Pablo. And with mine, it was weird because I think they told me that me and Andrea were too close to each other, that since her stuff always kept on getting censored, they had to search me as well, just in case, because we came in a little too close to the metal detector. So it also marked mine. And, you know, safety procedures, they have to also check me. But it was everybody was so friendly, you know, so nothing to be scared about.
Yeah, so a big part of that is like even the smaller things, they always are keeping an eye out, especially at the entrance. You never know who's coming in, what they're bringing in, and you don't know the relationship with other people. Though we are, of course, we're coming in with our shirts that's saying we are the innovation leadership. It still doesn't mean that you could be someone else. And so they always take precautions, and I think that is very, very important, even if it's the small things. Another thing is on-campus stuff. We have on-campus staff are to report when students are unwell, such as like to CIS, mentally, physically, you never know. So it's always good to be aware. It's always good to have that safety implementation. Yeah. Another thing is that we had our police and our fire department come in, and they wanted to discuss some safety measures and like what they offer. And I thought that was really nice to have that communication and that relationship bond of like, why it is very important to have safety in your life. So that's another thing. Students are recommended to help with flyers for mental health. So I love this so much because when I first came to school, they had tables out, and one of them had flyers for in case you ever need to contact someone and you're not feeling like yourself, not in the right headspace, maybe something's going on at home, there's always someone you can talk to, and I love that so much, and that has definitely impacted me as a student, and I'm pretty sure many other students, because we always need to have that person to talk to. And then, of course, fire exit maps. I love them. I always look at them. I don't know why. That is just me, but they're great.
This is our conclusion where, so we have a picture of us. So like we said, Disney doesn't take care of not only their guests, but also their members as well. So like the cast members, each other. So safety will always be a number one thing in Disney, and it should be for everything else, you know, like everybody should try to like put safety in first. And we saw that a lot, and especially the Indiana Jones, they showed us how they go with safety and everything, especially because they have explosions, they have like bulldozers just rolling down and everything.
Fire.
Yes. But you really get to see how they train a lot, and they go through everything over and over again just to get it all correct, and nobody gets hurt at the end, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And more pictures. So during this trip, we obviously had fun, but we really did learn a lot for leadership and how we can apply it. I definitely did this did come in handy with me because I started a job as like a manager position in sports clips. So now I train people and I have to be their leader, and it really helped me a lot.
Yeah, and learning from our amazing Olivia, our little co-star, she was awesome. She definitely gave us a lot of input on how to use safety and how important it is. Like, one of the quotes that she said was, "Without safety being your first, there won't be a show," and I like using that, and I'm pretty sure I've used that a couple of times doing this. But the things that she taught us, and of course, many of the other leadership innovation people, sorry, I don't know their names, they taught us a lot, and I have recognized that, and I enjoyed their presence and their astonishing brains, but they definitely held up the Disney profile. So yeah, I thought that was amazing. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Andrea Swan.
My name is Zoe Portugal.
And our presentation is about courtesy. This is the second Disney key. Okay, well, our key is courtesy, as I say, is the second one. After safety, this is the most important. I feel like safety, like they say, is basic. But after you have everyone secure, you need to make sure everyone feel welcome and everyone feel like they want to come back. Like a school. So courtesy have different words. Kindness, caring, sincerity, be polite, be civil. You can find 100 words that means courtesy. But basically, what it means is be nice with everyone. Make sure everyone have the same good experience. And doesn't matter what situation you are having in life, you can feel like kind of like comfortable to go and talk to someone else because you know everyone is going to be nice around you. That I feel like is like our group. Okay, courtesy the Disney way. So Disney is very, they are very important training people in courtesy to make sure they know how to treat all guests, more because they are an international park. People from all around the world is working there, is studying there, as well. It's a lot of customers from all around the world that they don't use the word customers, they actually call them guests. Why? Because they consider, like when you have a guest in your house, you want them to feel welcome, so you clean the house, you cook, and you make sure everything is nice. So for them it's the same, because they want everyone to feel welcome to come back, to enjoy it. And I would say, even if you don't speak the language, like the main language that is English, you will find someone who speaks your language. I speak Spanish, that's my main language, and the first time I went, I was 15 around. And I didn't know English, and they basically were so nice and always like, don't worry, let me find someone who can help you. So yeah, as well as they say at Disney, everyone is part of the guest experience team. Like my classmate says, doesn't matter if you are cleaning, doesn't matter if you are CEO, doesn't matter what position you are, or if you are new, it's your first day, everyone needs to be part of the team. Everyone needs to know the same basic keys and how to interact with the people.
And some experiences that we had there that exemplified this was me and Gwen were waiting to take a photo with a cast member. And there was a little boy in the line ahead of us who, while taking the photo of the cast member, he threw his toy plushie like right into the lake. And immediately the mom was like, oh God, no, because that's like $50, $60 down the drain.
Yeah.
And so immediately the cast member was like, it's okay, we'll just reimburse you, we'll get you a new one, it's fine. And while they were waiting for to get the new toy, they kept the little boy entertained so that he wasn't upset at all about losing his stuffed animal. And then also, like, they have pins at Disney, and like, for example, like they have a happy birthday one, or you can get a happy graduation one, and cast members will always go out of their way to like say like, oh, happy birthday, or congratulations on graduating, and other stuff like that. And also, I even had some experiences with the happy birthday pin where like they gave me like a free ice cream cone just because, and it was really nice, and it makes you feel special and very welcomed in the parks. So yeah.
Oh, before we jump to this, I just want to say some things that Lone Star College is doing very good about courtesy before we start what thing we can improve. I think for me, this is my second year. When I arrived to the United States, I was very scared. I didn't know where to go to study. My friends offered me different options, and after searching, I found out like Lone Star College have a very amazing community, and I feel very connected with kind of like the values that the school has. And since my first day, I remember my first class was like English, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do so bad. I'm not good at writing essays, and I have an amazing teacher who changed my life and my perspective of what I want to study. As well, I meet a lot of good classmates, and I have an amazing advisor that she knows every time when I need something, I will go to her and talk to her because she made me feel welcome. So as well, I feel like I remember one of my first days, I found Pablo, maybe he don't remember, but he was sitting in the front in the desk, and I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know where is my class. And he was like, don't worry. He probably don't remember. It was a long time ago. And I never say to him again, but yeah, he told me, yeah, go here, okay. And he walked me to the room, and I was like, thank you, like that's amazing. So yeah, I feel like these little details change everything. And for me, for example, I feel so proud to study here for all these things that made me feel welcome and made me feel want to continue my education here.
Okay, and so one of the things we wanted to create that we felt exemplified courtesy is a LSC-Tomball app, and it would include some features / do some things such as having a map, having a calendar of events, a list of the different organizations, a place where you can give feedback after events, a suggestion forum for new things they'd like to see on campus, a comprehensive contact list, like a congratulatory messages for like happy birthday or getting honor roll, a place where you can set appointments to meet with your advisor or with professors, and a staff compliments section. So the first one that we wanted to talk about is the map feature. It's we are heavily inspired by the idea of how the Disney app does it. So in the Disney app, you can like sort it by bathrooms or restaurants or like the different rides. And so similarly for our Tomball campus map, we considered it could have the locations of important locations, such as the campus police or student advising or the assessment center.
Where to buy food.
Yeah. Also, like the locations of the different food places, such as the Commons Cafe, the Farmer's Fridge, and also the different vending machines that are located around campus. And for like the Commons Cafe and the Farmer's Fridge, it could also include like the menu so that it'd be easier to figure out what food is available and how to order it. And so for events and the promotion of organizations, we are considering that there could be a calendar of the different events happening at Lone Star Tomball, because some feedback that I've heard from students here is that they find it sometimes hard to know what campus activities are happening. And so we figured this would help make it easier so that people could get more involved in the community here at Lone Star Tomball. And we're also considering that in the app there could be a drop-down menu of the different organizations and maybe a description of what each organization does, what days they meet, and like the important contact information so that you can become more involved.
Yeah, and how to apply. So feedback after events and form of suggestions. So I consider this very important because when you have feedback, you can know what you're doing wrong, what you're doing good, or what you can improve, what the people likes. So with this, because we have students from a lot of different places as well, we have a lot of different personalities, so you can see what people is looking for, why they make their experience better, or why can be even like, I don't know, feel more welcome or feel like they want to spend more time in campus. Or for example, even with t-shirts and stuff, hey, you know, I really like that, for example, my advisor, she always helped me, she always give me advice, she always give me the tools, send me like links when I have questions, send me with the right people, give me the phone numbers, the emails, these kind of suggestions, I always let her know, for example, so she knows and she continue doing that. So I feel like if you have a forum where you can talk about it in the app, or when you can just like kind of like rate, it would be very cool so people like can continue doing these things like good.
Okay, another thing we want to add is a comprehensive contact list of all the important different places, such as like I said earlier, like advising, student engagement, stuff like that. Yeah, a feedback that we've heard before is it can be, sorry, it can be hard to find like a complete list of all the different resources, and so it can be kind of hard to access those sometimes. So that's why we thought by putting it in the app, it would make it easier and more accessible to more students.
Happy birthday and celebrating students' achievements of success. Well, we think this can be managed in two ways. It can be in the app, or either it can be in pins like Disney does. Whatever way is easier, but we think any both can be very effective to make students, like I say again, feel welcome, feel like they have a family here, because like we always say, one wolf, one pack. So we want them to feel that connection with the school. We want them to have a good moment, but as well, not all the people have a big or even support system. Some people is here alone, so we consider having this, hey, happy birthday, can make their day special. Sometimes you just need a little thing to change someone's life. As well, it gives the student drive and motivation to continue doing great work and increase their self-esteem. And as well, you can create a positive classroom culture. Why? Because we think, for example, in Disney, when you have your pin, say happy birthday, or I don't know, like celebrating, and they can write having A's, or I passed my exam, or whatever they are celebrating. You can celebrate a minimum thing, doesn't matter, because it's important for you, so it's important for everyone. So people have that, and you see someone, and you're like, wow, like congrats, happy birthday. So they can feel more connected with the system and everyone here.
This is one of my favorite features that appear in the Disney app. It's you can put down the name of the cast member as well as the location of where they were and how they helped make your day better. And so this is something I really would love to add to campus, because while it's important for faculty to be courteous to students, I think it's also important for students to be courteous to faculty. So this would be a great way that students, or even just visitors and other staff, can compliment faculty for their hard work that they've done and really show that it's appreciated here on campus. And we also considered the idea of adding a small reward after you get like a certain number of compliments. You could get like a sweet treat, or like maybe a gift card somewhere, to really show that like, yes, we appreciate the work you're doing.
Because everyone deserves to be recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, team training. Well, I got this idea because I used to be flight attendant, and one of the most important things after safety was courtesy. For us, we have a training around like every 6 months. It was an online training, but it was kind of like, hey, I know you're stressed, I know you have a lot of things in your head, you've been working so hard, so just for you to remember, these are some of the basics that you need to follow. This is some of the people that you can find out, how you're gonna deal in this situation, what are the tools that you have. So I feel like this can be pretty cool. We call it team because together everyone achieves more. You need the whole school to be in the same kind of understanding of the basic values, so you can continue doing better. We think that this can be something that people, for example, we have a lot of invisible disabilities, so training people in how to treat them can be pretty good and can make the school very successful. As they say, the greatest symbol of a traditional customer service is a smile. Sometimes just remind people, hey, just give a small smile, or just help them with a little extra. I know you're tired, but hey, you will make their life better, and you know, everything come back to you. So.
So this is a campaign that we created called One Kind Word, and it's based off the idea of if you see something, say something. So if you see someone in the hallway, you just really like their hairstyle, or like their outfit that they're wearing that day, you like go ahead, tell them, because it creates a culture of kindness on campus and helps create a more welcoming and positive atmosphere. And yeah.
As we say, one kind word can change someone's entire day or life. And courtesy is as contagious as the common cold. It is. Okay, sunflower lanyard. So this is an idea who started in London in 2016 in the airport to help people with invisible disabilities to feel more welcome. How? Because they train staff members in the airport to find out when someone have a hidden disability lanyard, they knew how to train them. They knew they will take longer. They knew maybe they need extra help. They knew they don't speak. Maybe they need sign language. So it's a little different of disabilities, hidden disabilities you can find around there, and they train them in that. And they are very consistent. Till today, it's an association that is a worldwide thing. You can find, I have the link here in case if you want it, I can give it to you later. You can find a lot of business and schools around the world are working with this. I feel like this can be pretty good to implement in Lost Art College-Tomball because, like I said, when you are kind to others, it's not only change you, it's change the world. Sometimes you don't know how to simply interact with some people, and that's okay. We are not perfect, but it's nice to find different ways, get people informed, and just continue doing like a work where everyone can feel like comfortable.
Okay. And our final idea for improvement is adding more signs around campus, because I think noticeably there aren't really too many. We were thinking it'd be good if they were located at like the beginnings of each of the main hallways, so like the north, east, west, and south wing. So for example, for the east wing, it would look like having a sign there that like listed like this is the performing arts hall, so it lists like that the music classes are that way, or like the art classes, drama, stuff like that. It helps definitely with those like first day, making it a lot more easier and efficient. And people aren't going to be as stressed and anxious about getting to class because it's a lot easier to navigate around campus and figure out where you're going.
As well, having different color, different signs can help to build a school identity. You make feel like, okay, yeah, I know where I'm arriving. I know this is my area. You use colors that you like. As well, improve safety, because if it's an emergency or anything, everyone knows where to go. It's more easy and accessible for everyone to go to these places. Help people with disabilities, helping and inspiring students, because, you know, I said a little bit about it. The color, the psychology of color is very important. And for example, this is why we choose the orange, because that's a color that makes you a little more welcoming, more calm. But like, we used to have like a blue, but we were like, no, you know, like that doesn't inspire you. So the psychology of color is very important, and I feel like implementing in the campus can be pretty good. Sometimes you see gray, white, and you're like, I don't know if I feel like I want to study here, like continue, for example, study in the library or whatever. So you want to feel motivated, and this can help a lot.
So my overall experience with the Disney capstone trip was really great. I was extremely impressed by Disney leadership, and specifically the focus that they put on teamwork. Every single cast member is always working together, and as they mentioned in the previous presentation, they're always checking in on each other and making sure that everyone's doing good. Another thing is I really enjoyed making new friends. Pretty much almost everyone on the Disney cohort for this year, I didn't know beforehand. So for me, I'm someone who's really shy, it was really good to be able to step out of my comfort zone and meet new people and make new friends that hopefully will be great friends for the rest of the school time here. So another thing that impressed me the most about being at Disney is the attention to detail that they put both into the parks and rides. So like in these pictures over here, the bottom one is Pandora and Animal Kingdom. And that was like honestly the most astonishing part to me, like the whole like floating islands and the branches like connecting to the ground. It was like really impressive. And then I also included a picture from the Tower of Terror, because in my opinion, I think that's the most immersive ride in almost all of the park. The staff are like extremely committed to like the whole theme, and it's just really amazing. And finally, the staff were just really kind and super fun and interesting to talk to. So while we were in Epcot, I got to speak to some people in the German section who actually came on a Disney program from Germany. And so they're working in that specific part of the park. And it was really interesting hearing their story of how they ended up coming here and how much they enjoy working at Disney. And just overall, they're just very kind. They're always open to answer your questions and are always willing to help you out.
Okay, my Disney experience. So it is the World of Terror again. We're all having fun. Well, I learned about teamwork. I learned, well, I'm a Disney fan since I'm a kid. I've been in Disney a few times before, but this time definitely was very different. Why? Because I see, basically, backstage, I see a completely different view of Disney that I never had before. I was like, okay, the games, this is pretty, whatever, but the transition of one part to another is just amazing. The way that everyone works together and really applied every single key is very cool. So yeah, I feel like every time when I go now, I will have a different view of Disney. As well, it's a lot of things I want to apply in my life, and so far I've been doing it. I feel like sometimes little things can just change you, and for me, having, for example, a big group of classmates from all around the campus that I never met before, it was my first time, changed my perspective of different careers, people. Sometimes I have questions about things that I know about campus, and I ask them, and they help me because they have more information than me. Liz and Shannon were amazing as well. They helped me with a lot of information, and I feel like this program overall helped me to get out of my comfort zone and just learn, basically. I love learning and getting new information, so yeah, I have a lot of different tools now. And what we say, one wolf, one pack. Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Lola.
And I'm Juliana.
And today we're talking about inclusion the Disney way and how we can implement it on campus today.
Yeah. So inclusion is the third of the 5 keys. It's also the most recent addition, as we saw in that video. There's a lot of different definitions for inclusion. The one that we decided to focus on is the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded, such as those who have physical or intellectual disabilities and members of other minority groups.
Okay, so within the Disney parks, there's many ways that inclusion is shown throughout. One of the ways is the inclusion of different countries. Each cast member on their name tag has their name and where they're from, so the city and the state, which is really interesting because you're able to see where the person is from. The park maps at every park in the Disney World section, so they have maps in different languages where everyone is able to understand where everything is, even if English isn't your first language. And then the rides, before you get on the rides, there's always a safety speech kind of thing that also is in different languages and is easy to understand. So this is Olivia. She is from California. You can't really see it, but it's on her name tag. And this is a better example of the name tags. And then this is one of the boxes with all the maps with the different languages in Hollywood Studios. Oh wait, sorry.
Wrong direction. Okay, so Disney also has a lot of inclusion of other countries in their show and how they portray a lot of the parks. You can especially see this in Epcot. So they have the Disney visa, which is essentially just a J1 visa. It's where you can come into the country and you can stay in the United States as long as you're working for Walt Disney Company. So you can see right here, they've got like a bunch of programs that would be under Disney's international program. And a lot of the people who are on the Disney visa, also sometimes called the Mickey visa, they'll be in Epcot in the shops or doing something with the food or something in the country that they're from or the representation of that country. You can see a lot of these cultural influences in the food, art, architecture, and clothing there. So you can kind of see in this picture that
we were obviously in Japan, and so we have a lot of Japanese influences behind us. Same with here, we were in China, and that's also some boba, so that's some of the food that they had. I also had this incredible Wagyu bao, and it was it was truly the best, like the best food I've ever eaten. I will never get over it. It was so good, and it cost me like $12. You can also see this in the clothing. We don't have a good picture of this, but in, for example, Germany, if you go into a shop, you'll see that they're wearing a lot of like traditional German clothes. So they'll either be wearing something that's genuinely like a traditional clothing or inspired by that for the country, or they'll be wearing something that ties into the Disney program or the Disney story that ties into that country. So for example, in Germany, they might have somebody dressed up like a character from Rapunzel because that story takes place in Germany. There's also a fireworks show, and at least the one in Epcot, I remember had, like we said earlier, they start out with all of the different countries with a little firework coming from there, but they also have all of the same songs that you grew up with and you're familiar with in different languages. So you might hear I See the Light from Tangled, but it's in French, or you might hear a song from Tarzan, but it's in German. So it kind of provides a way for even guests from other countries to see the things that they're familiar with and feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more at home.
So this is, Disney isn't just exclusive into the countries in Western societies. They also include Africa and Asia, which can be, you can't really tell, but that is from Africa in Animal Kingdom, and those two bottom pictures are from Asia, from the Yeti ride. What's it called? Everest. Yeah, it's from Everest. And they had a whole bunch of exhibits and stuff that just showed details and things about when they went on the Yeti exhibition. Costumes, architecture, art, and facts, that's also included with the pictures. The costumes within Africa and Asia, you would see patterns and colors that you would typically see in that country. So that was really eye-opening. Yeah.
So these are a couple of pictures, and we do have some videos that I'll try to play if they want to cooperate. Sound is kind of, I'm scared. But you can see right here, they have Coca-Cola flavors around the world, and it's a little bit blurry when it's blown up like this, but you can see like Philippines, Korea, China, Dominican Republic. So you can experience the different flavors that they have all around the world for this brand that we all know and I love. You can also see right here, this was at Tron. So like they showed earlier in the safety presentation, there were lockers. And if you forgot what locker you were going to, like I did, then you would have to go scan your Magic Band to see what locker it was assigned to. But since not everybody speaks English or even uses like, what's the word I'm looking for? The Arabic numerals, you can click on a different language. And this actually swiped, and there were a bunch of languages, so that you can actually see which locker it was, and it would make sense to you no matter where you were from. We also had a lot of different shows. So this is please work. This is one of the dances that they had in Africa in the Animal Kingdom. Super cool. Love it here. Let's hope and pray for this one. This is one of the fireworks shows. And this was the welcome. And because we can watch this video, I'll just kind of explain. So you can kind of see there's a couple of us in there. They did this traditional dance, and then they brought people up to teach them how to do this dance. So then everybody got to kind of be a part of that and got to kind of experience that culture and that show for themselves. It is what it is. Please.
Okay, Okay, so things that we love in LSC-Tomball are clubs. We have many different clubs within our college. Sorry, we have LASO, which is for Latin students. We have the Black Student Association, which isn't just for Black students; it's for everyone. And then we have the flags in the Commons. That just represents a little bit of all the students that we have within our campus, since we're not all from Texas or we're not all from the U.S. Celebrations of different cultures. I know SAB had the Chinese New Year lantern release. We had the Latin dance for Lasso, and then we had, I had one in my head. We had, I wasn't there. Oh, and we have, wait, no. Oh, we had the Dia de los Muertos thing. We had the week full of activities held by SAB that help celebrate different cultures. And then we have students from everywhere. We have Andrea, who is from Mexico. We have Alejandro, who works downstairs, who is from Venezuela. And then we have Tyrell, who is from South Africa. So we have a little bit of everyone. And then stuff we can improve. The halls in LSC-Tomball are a little plain. Something we could do to improve is to add art, whether it's having a competition from students from a certain country drawing something, or just buying something that you would typically see there. Campus maps. I know on the first day not everyone speaks English, so I feel that something we could improve on is having maps in different languages like Disney does, so everyone is able to understand where they're going and where they need to go be. Staff members that speak different languages, and pins for staff that speaks different languages. That's kind of the same thing. So something useful would be having pins, kind of like the celebration pins or the name tags that have either a flag or say what other language they speak, which would be really helpful for students who don't necessarily speak English as their first language on the first day, or just anytime they need help. And it's better clarification for them, so yeah.
These are just a couple of examples of things that we do that are really, really great. So obviously the flags in the Commons. We also talked about some of the events that happen across campus that are just a really great way of including everybody. And then of course we have a picture right here of one of our student organization events that you can kind of, everybody gets a chance to put a little bit of their culture into our campus.
Inclusion of the community. So there's fun for all ages within Disney, so you don't have to be 18 to do something or 13 or whatever. Anyone can participate in anything. There's kiddie rides, there's adult rides, there's drinking in Epcot. And yeah, leaving a mark within Disney, as can be seen here and there. They had some color by numbers and chalk art for kids to be able to leave their mark and just have something of a piece of them in the parks. And then personal expression, Disney had this pride flag jacket, which it just allows everyone to express themselves in the way they feel is appropriate. Dietary restrictions. Within Disney, when you order something on the menu, it would have in small letters if there was egg, milk, soy, and they would always have substitutions for what you wouldn't be able to eat, and they were easy to find. And then celebration buttons. Here we have Diana and LeVar. They have their first visit buttons, and then they're celebrating Black History Month. So it just helps you be more involved within, and it helps with the connection within those staff members.
Some really great things that we have on campus. Obviously, we have a lot of community events such as the Easter egg hunt. This is a really great way for us to position ourselves not only as an educational center, but as a community center. We also do that with having a public library. We have a section for kids. I know Gwen mentioned to me one time that she always came to the library as a kid, and that was something that she always looked forward to. We also have so many clubs, y'all. We have so many that allow people to find their sub-community within our greater LSC Tomball community. We have a great opportunity for a lot of rooms for like venues for different things. So we have N103, we obviously have this room right here that we're in. We have the Speaking Excellence Center, a lot of different places for you to do an event that really fits with something that you want to see on campus. So if you want to see somebody do a lecture on this thing and you have somebody that's interested, you can book that room and have that event that you're looking for. We also have a lot of dietary restriction options on campus. So if you are vegetarian, for example, you can go get something from the Commons Cafe and you don't necessarily have to get meat. Some things that we could improve on are ingredient labels. As somebody who doesn't eat a lot of dairy, it's kind of hard to figure out what has dairy on it on campus. Even if you go into the app for the Commons Cafe, there isn't a section to see what the ingredients are for something, and there's not always an obvious indicator. Like obviously if it's yogurt, I know that there's dairy, but if it's an actual like cooked item, I don't necessarily know what's in it. Also some more options for dietary restrictions. So we are really great for somebody who is lactose intolerant or somebody who is vegetarian, but we don't necessarily have kosher or halal options on campus, which would be a really great addition to make somebody feel more included. Also, we should definitely advertise our Timberwolf Wellness Center a little bit more. It's a great resource for low-income or food insecure students to make them feel like they have the same amount of resources and the same access to these things as everyone else on campus. And it helps to improve not only their personal life, but also their student success. Because if you're not well fed, you can't really do anything else properly.
Okay, inclusion of disabilities. Disney is really good at including people with disabilities. One way is the scooters. You're able to rent these out if you can't walk for a long period of time, stand, etc. So that's the that's one of the scooters, and they have like a whole row of them. Braille. So within Disney, they had a big Braille map where you were able to, if you were blind, you would be able to feel and know where you're going. Disney Accessibility Service Pass, which is the DAS Pass. We used that with Lisa and Nick. It's for if you can't stand for very long or you can't wait in lines for very long. It helps just move past the line.
You wait electronically so that you don't necessarily have to wait in that line for a super long time.
Yeah. And then wheelchair accessibility. Disney is really good with this. On the monorails, on the bus, on anything that you would go on, there's always a ramp for you to be able to go down and go up. So yeah. And then that's the Braille map, disability map, and the bus. So yeah.
So we have some really great inclusion of disabilities, both physical and intellectual, on campus. We are very wheelchair accessible, which is super great. We also have really clear Braille room numbers. I tried to catch it so you can see the shadow here, but it's very prominent. It's not like it's going to be hard to read if you're blind. We also have handicap parking spaces, and of course we have our super unique, incredible Life Path program that is amazing and very, like I said, unique. Some things that we could improve on are campus maps. A lot of our campus maps are these, I guess screens is the best way to describe it, which is really helpful if you're somebody that can see and you can navigate those screens, but it would also be beneficial to have textured maps for any students that might have a hard time seeing, like maybe if you forgot your glasses that day or if you're fully blind. Some elevator consistency. As a student who has to get in the elevators 99% of the time, our elevators are kind of trash. They're not the most consistent. A lot of the time, I've been stuck in an elevator a couple of times, not necessarily stuck in between floors, but essentially it will get to the bottom and it'll just kind of hover there for a bit, and that makes me late to class a lot, which is not great being the person to walk into class late all the time. Also, some sensory-friendly spaces. I have kind of heard that we're talking about implementing a sensory-friendly space, which would be super, super great. As a neurodiverse student, that would be incredible. We have a lot of like fluorescent lights, and it can get really loud on campus. One thing that I will say would be super great to implement is to just remember all of the senses when we're implementing that sensory-friendly room. So that means lighting and sound, but also having something that will help to, I guess, stimulate the senses in a non-overstimulating way. So some examples that I've seen used before are like quiet fidget toys, or even one of those like fake fish tanks where you can just kind of look at it, but it doesn't make any noise and there's not any like actual fish in there. Those would be really beneficial to help somebody kind of calm down if they're having a meltdown. So our overall experiences were pretty good, I would say. Personally, I really loved going to Disney. I really loved this cohort. We made a lot of really great friends. Hold on, let me just. We made a lot of really great friends. As you can see, everybody was like really excited on all of these. We all took pictures together. We all kind of got to experience our favorite thing in the world. But I would say that the best part of this was truly getting to do all of the classes, both for Disney Imagination Campus and here on campus, because we really got to kind of peel the layers back and see how we can apply that to not just LSE-Tomball, but our general lives, and really see how we can be more inclusive and safe and courteous and all of these things in our everyday lives and in every single interaction that we gave. Y'all unfortunately heard my video earlier, but I was not given a warning for that. They just played it, but that was upsetting. But we really got to learn that this is something that you have to keep building. And that's something that I think is important to remember, especially with something like leadership or something like innovation, because you can hit a certain point where you're like, okay, once I become manager, like then I'll be the best leader I can be. And while you are the best leader that you have been so far, I think it's important to always remember that we can keep growing and that we will keep growing if we try.
You can. So my experience was really eye-opening. Although we were having fun and learning, I really took part. I took with me the sessions and the sessions that we did here in the room. Yeah.
We had a great time. It was really fun.
Hi everybody, good afternoon. My name is Gwendolyn Crane, and today our presentation will be implementing Disney's show at Lone Star College.
Yep, and I'm Pablo Jimenez, and I will also be presenting over, if it wants to do it, our 5 keys. So R specifically is going to be show. So today we kind of want to showcase how we can implement show and what we learned at Disney here on campus so we can help better our experience.
Some of the three main concepts we'll be focusing on today for this presentation is going to be understanding show, maintaining show, and implementing show at Lone Star. These are 3 more important concepts to understand as we present our presentation for you today.
So before we get into show, I kind of want to go over what even is our experience important and why our campus experience is important. So firstly, one of the main things I really think is fostering connection. Whenever a student walks on the campus, we want to make that immediate impact. We want to make sure right whenever the first step they're in, someone is greeting them or someone is welcoming to them, because me personally, I applied to college 2 weeks before classes started. So I needed to get involved. I didn't know what to do, but I started to act and kind of just get involved a little bit more, go to Wolfpack Welcome, things like that, where I kind of just wanted to make sure I start making connections before I even start classes and just kind of try to really get involved. So by doing that, it enhances the experience before you even start classes, or once you start classes, you already got some of that college experience. So it really leads you to do more when you're already in. And once you start classes in the next semester, maybe you want to join a club, or maybe your second year, you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. Let's get really involved. Let's go all 100%. And so my second year, I really got involved. I'm running around. You've probably seen me in I don't know where. You see me all over the place because I got really enhanced in my experience. And that really boosted my overall morale. I found myself a lot happier on campus, really making more memories. And other kids as well, I've asked students like, hey, how do you feel? And kind of like making sure they're okay as well. And their morale overall seemed pretty good. Like they're happy to be here, which also just boosts recruitment and it makes friends who maybe were unsure about college to tell them, hey, come to Tomball, you know, you're going to have a great time. So that just boosts more students to want to come to campus.
So understanding show is important to understanding the key of show and implementing it at Lone Star. I'm a very detail-oriented person, so I'm very observant. I pay attention to a lot of things. And naturally, I paid attention to a lot of things when I joined Lone Star, but I was also paying attention to a lot of things at Disney. Disney is fantastically detail-oriented, and they pay attention to everything, which enhances your overall experience and really makes you feel like you're immersed at Disney World. So the attention to detail was absolutely insane. I loved taking pictures of everything that they paid special attention to. Like, for instance, this is a sign from one of the Star Wars land. It's in fact in Arubish, which is a Star Wars language, made up, obviously. But the sign, of course, we can't read. But the fact that they put the sign into a Star Wars language makes you feel like you're actually there on that Star Wars planet. They also make it look very rustic, and they have like the control panel on the side. This is a mailbox in Main Street, USA. One of the lands in Disney World, and the mailboxes changed from each world that you went to. So this mailbox was specific. It obviously says U.S. mail by stamp, so it was pertaining to like the 50s era in America. And these mailboxes changed throughout the world. So they would have like a Star Wars themed one, they would have an African themed one, and things like that. This one is a personal favorite of mine. So the Hollywood Tower Hotel ride. The whole premise of the ride is that the elevator crashes, and you're on this elevator crash for the ride, so you just take this insane drop. So they have a letter board inside of this ride, and the letter board has letters missing off of the advertisement for the hotel. And if you look at the bottom of the frame, the letters that fell spell "take the stairs." An absolutely unnecessary detail, but it was just really cool to see that and find it because they put a lot of thought into this ride and into the experience. You want to talk about seamless transitions?
Yes, so with seamless transition, this is something that during our sessions, one of our leaders actually taught us. And so me personally, whenever we were walking through Animal Kingdom, we were making our way to Pandora. And if you don't know what Pandora is, that is the Avatar world. And so Animal Kingdom and Avatar have a fairly similar vibe. They're both outdoor and nature, right? So we were coming from Animal Kingdom, and we were walking down a little hall. Or not a hall, but outside, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, we're still in Animal Kingdom. And he's like, really? Like, are you still in Animal Kingdom? And I looked, I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen that tree before. Wait, we're not in Animal Kingdom. And he's like, we kept walking, and he's like, look at that sign. He said, it's Pandora. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I didn't even notice that I went from Animal Kingdom to Pandora because of that seamless transition, and then being able to just simply kind of see. So as you can tell, this was Animal Kingdom, but it has a very similar, so I didn't even know whenever we walked over. Also, another thing is Toy Story. A big thing about the Toy Story world is that they make you feel like you are the toy. So a lot of the rides and the buildings are life-size. So whenever you walk into Toy Story, that transition between you being a normal person into a toy is very, very evident. Like, I looked around and I'm like, oh my God, like, I feel like I'm in the movie. Like, it's almost one of those where just you transition into a mindset where they really are emphasizing the fact that you are going into a new world and everything is just different and that they're different spots.
So these are just two key aspects that really add to the emotional connection when you're in Disney World, and they're very important to show as an element. The emotional connection that Disney implements through show is very important, like that photo down there at the bottom. This is a photo taken on the ride, and they actually digitally edit each photo you take on the ride to match the theme of that ride. So that's from Space Mountain, so we're in a spaceship. But it's really cool that they take this extra step and this extra detail. So now when you look at this photograph, you remember exactly what ride was it from and what exact moment that was. I do remember screaming my head off. So I do remember it was exactly from Space Mountain, and it's because of how they edited it. So it really adds to the emotional connection, and it really makes your experience, because of the show, is such a great, great job.
So another thing, as I mentioned in the previous slide, was immersive experiences. So firstly, right here, this is our Rise of the Resistance ride. The line and the wait for this ride is so long and so high, but we were able to get in there, and almost a second time. We almost went twice, which is rare. So the reason is because you feel like you're in Star Wars land. So me personally, I will tell you, Gwen is a big Star Wars nerd. I am not. So, but whenever I went in there, I almost was like, I think I need to look into Star Wars more. Maybe I should be more of a big of a Star Wars fan, because when I got there, I felt like I was detained, like I was in the movie. Like, this is such a real thing. You walk in and just stormtroopers. Like, I could not even have told you, I couldn't even recreate this. We also had a video where, right here, where I'm walking next to the stormtroopers, and they're just there, like, it's like I'm there. So just from that little short clip, I felt like I was one of like just a freelance person just walking around and there's a stormtrooper. And I was actually so immersed when I was pointing to them, I almost accidentally touched their shoulder, which one of the rules, you should not touch any of the cast members. So I was very scared for a second where that, but another thing is also Disney's Mickey Mouse Runaway Railroad. That one is also another way to get you involved, feeling like you're on a roller coaster, but in this case, his roller coaster breaks. So. See? So like I said in the video, I didn't even hear that. It looks real. From my own point of view, you heard, even I wasn't even thinking about it, but when I even said it, it looks so real because you were fully immersed in that experience. And that is something I think that we can maybe add into Lone Star when a few events that we have that we can really get those students feeling like they're there and they really want to be here.
So now that we understand the importance of immersive experiences, let's look at maintaining show, because this is another important aspect of keeping show alive on campus. So how Disney maintains the magic of their show is, I remember specifically during one of the Disney Imagination campus lectures, we were speaking with one of the cast members and he was talking to us about show, actually. And a piece of trash just kind of rolled by and no one actually paid attention to it, but he just swooped down, picked it up, carried on. It did not interrupt his presentation. It did not interrupt the flow of the lesson that we were learning, and it did not interrupt our overall experience. So this is a rule for Disney cast members to pick up trash as they go, because when you see trash, it's distracting, it takes away from what you're doing, and so now you're focusing on how dirty the campus is or how dirty Disney World is, rather than how immersive and how magical the whole experience can be. So how we maintain the magic on campus, I know currently we are repainting all the hallways, we are working on maintaining the facilities and keeping them up to date. I think we do actually a very good job at that. I'm friends with some of the facility ladies in the South Hall. I see them quite frequently. So, and they're always very pleasant to talk to. They do a great job. Another way that we really maintain this is our community presence. Tomball is, I believe, definitely a college town. I grew up in this area. And we have this Tomball is a college town initiative that we do implement. This is seen through our billboards that we have, stay close, go far. That is a great message for community. I know that when growing up, as Juliana mentioned, I went a lot to the library as a kid, and I remember walking into the children's library, and it was always so fun. I was always so immersed in what I was doing. I was always excited to go get books. I was excited to meet the librarians and that big brown bear in the baby changing room that's no longer there. But I remember after, my mom let us pick out our kids' books, we would have to go up to the upstairs so she could do her adult work. And I remember it feeling completely different. It was a complete change. I knew exactly where I was. It was a serious place for adults, for college kids to do their work. And so unintentionally, we have implemented show in our own community library, because you can feel an immediate difference as soon as you walk out of the college library into the children's library, where the community center is, where we hold a lot of community events.
So along with that, we also want to think about designing our campus itself with intention for attention. So one of the things that I have noticed is our color signage. So a lot of our signs here and like whenever we're going to different buildings like S202, N103, things like that are all gray. Every single building is gray. So one thing I said is maybe depending on each wing, north, south, east, west, they can be a certain color. So because whenever students come in, you can tell them, hey, go to S202. They're gonna be like, where's that? And then you have to guide them, right? So then now whenever you're guiding them, you can look for the red signs. So then now whenever that student comes in, that student can tell their friends who are looking for a new class, be like, hey, I was at the red signs. Come find the red signs, I'll come to you. So that just adds a little bit kind of efficiency, which we'll hear about here in the next, which is just implements together with color signage. Another thing is simply just improving the aesthetics of the campus.
So aesthetics to me are very important. Again, like I said, I'm a detail-oriented person, and I also work a lot with design and marketing in HIE. So one of the ideas that me and Pablo kind of came up with, of course, this isn't absolutely necessary, but it is a part of maintaining show on campus. We thought it would be kind of cool to like put like vinyl wolf paws like on the gym floors, like leading up to the gym, so you kind of know like, hey, this is getting serious. We're getting to game mode. Like this is cool. We got cool spirit going. We got some cool spirit.
Even a school sign.
Yeah, so
like
we thought that was kind of cool. I know in the Honors and International Education section of campus, we do have like internationalized decorations. We have a world map. We're representing different cultures. We do that in the Commons. So some things like that, some really, really cool things that add to it and it lets you know where you're at. We could add like music notes on the walls in the music hall leading up to Beckendorf and things like that.
So along with aesthetics does come functionality. Obviously we want to add some stuff, but we want to make sure it's functional. So by optimizing some of the spaces that we already have and making them look more appealing to students that want to come, that's going to improve the functionality of the room itself. So we have our innovation lab, we have our experience lab, we have the innovation center, we have this room that soon will become a student hub for organizations that come in here and hang out. Those lockers behind us are actually going to be, according to every organization, is going to have their own locker. And so for them, they can kind of make it in what University Park, we took a trip. And they actually have, every organization has their own locker and they got to make a little art on their locker. So they maybe, art club might have some paints, you know, theater club can have like a little drama mask, things like that, just to kind of add a little personality to your own club and just invite students to want to come to these already very functional rooms to make it more appealing for students to be like, oh, I like how that looks. Maybe I should come in and try it out. And as soon as they walk in, they're immediately immersed into what we offer to improve the functionality of the campus, but also the student thinking.
Because we do understand that decorating does take fun, so it's important that they actually have function and they have meaning behind them. Another thing I noticed actually when I first joined Lone Star was that we kind of have outdated pictures around campus, and I knew immediately because of the hairstyles and the clothes that some of them are wearing. So I think it's like we do have some like updated photos back there. I think it'd be really cool if we could implement new photos so students understand, hey, we just did that. Like that was a new event that we just did. So having these photos around campus can be very immersive for new students.
So we also want to showcase maybe what we already do. So firstly, I do want to go over campus exploration. So me personally, I was a tour guide over the last semester and a half. So I would bring in students and they would come in and I would show them around campus. But one of the first things about new student orientation is they come in here and they sat down and they kind of would just go on their phone and they'd just be like, I'm just here because I just want to get the checklist checked off. So I made it a personal goal of myself to go to every single student and be like, hey, what's your name? What's your major? Hey, what do you want to do? And actually, what was really, really beneficial is actually those students started talking to each other. And because I was like, hey, he's a comp sci major too. Maybe y'all should like link up, so then you have to like a same interest. Things like that. So then I encourage them to be like, hey, during our tour, this is going to be what you're going to be maybe hanging out around. So encourage those students to kind of come to these areas and be like, if you look out and maybe if you remember something, I'll like, if I find you again, come to me and I'll get you like a burger or something. Small like little prizes just to make them really want to be here. Another thing is just engaging events. We have a lot of clubs on campus, so that is already something for every student to come in and get involved. And through these different organizations, they all throw various events. We have Latin organizations throwing Latin-inspired events. We have the Student Activities Board. We do all kinds of different things. SGA will hold different poetry slams, educational things like that where it includes everyone to really want students to come in and show just different educational things that we can do together. So just by implementing those engaging events on campus, really, really highlighting those things that we can do, really involve students to come in. But we also have vibrant things. So as I already mentioned before, some of the stuff that we already use, those are something that we can also really, really highlight. Some of our rooms, because I feel like sometimes that we have an experience lab. A lot of students tell us we have an experience lab, and if you don't know what that is, that's our VR lab. That's where we have 12 Oculus headsets that come in and really students just to get involved, and professors are even using it. And here Shows is also our Performing Arts Center. This is something that is very, very, very big to the community. Other Tomball local theater departments will come and use the Performing Arts Center because of the community in that show. That is very obvious. We just had a musical for the first time since 2017. That was a big achievement. So that was something that they want to showcase to the students to come, get involved. We're really here for you.
So in conclusion, we just wanted to say thank you for all of your support. None of this would have been possible without Lone Star's constant support and their constant involvement in our educational experience. I know personally that the Leadership and Innovation Academy will be a great addition to my educational career. I think that it really did give me like a new perspective and a new lens to look on management and leadership, and I think it'll be very beneficial to my future career aspirations and when I transfer, and I look forward to implementing it in campus projects and as a student leader as well.
Yeah, and for me personally, I was just so overwhelmed over everything on the last day. Actually, during that light show, during the fireworks show, I cried. Like, I was so just taken by the moment that like I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God, like this is really something. I want to be here. And the next day when I got home, I started looking up Disney jobs just because I was curious, because it really showed me some of the stuff that we learned can apply even here to Tomball. And I'm very much have a media background. So I really want to get to capture those moments that you can create into video form and or do leadership styles to really showcase that thing. So I took a lot out of it. I took way too many photos. So it was just an overall amazing experience, and I'm gonna take a lot of those things I learned and use it, and just even when I'm meeting somebody and just how to approach somebody, and it gave me a different lens in how to approach people.
So good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. My name's Emily.
And my name is LeVar Leonard.
And we're going to be presenting about the Disney leadership experience and about what it was like to go to the parks and do the sessions in the parks and before the parks. And we're going to be talking about our key of efficiency as well, and how Disney uses that key and how we can implement it here at Lone Star. So starting with this quote at the bottom, when your values are clear to you, making decisions becomes easier. This was a quote that I really remembered from the sessions here, and one of the Imagineers said it while we were there in the sessions, and it's just like a general basis that really all the cast members know there. And through those sessions, you kind of look at the park with a different lens, and that was really great overall. So Disney has 5 keys that serve as the general basis for the way that the cast and crew members view their jobs. And it is safety, courtesy, inclusion, show, and efficiency, which is our key. And all these keys need each other, and they all are they blend together. One cannot do without the other.
During our time at the sessions, we really learned a lot of lessons that we can bring out to the real world. And one of the lessons that we had is understanding and knowing the importance of your role. And everybody must know and fulfill their role to their maximum ability for things to work efficiently. Olivia has really showed us during our sessions in the tour, she showed us a variety of productive activities that we really learned, and one that really stands out to me was really the clock. And when she passed out the clock, it didn't really work. And we was trying to figure out what was wrong with the clock. And And we couldn't really tell because that minor imperfection of that clock really threw everything off. And it really shows that Disney, knowing your role and understanding how important, really plays a part in everything they do, because their goal is to create happiness for guests, visitors, for anybody and everybody.
Another scenario that the Imagination leader had us do was she had this plumbing pipe with holes in it, and the goal was to get the ping pong ball out of the bottom using water. But since there were holes in the pipe, it was kind of difficult to do that. And we all started talking over each other. Water got all over everybody. And that miscommunication, we really needed to have effective communication. That way everybody could do their roles to their ability. And so the project would be successful, which was to get the ping pong ball out. So this is a conglomeration of pictures, some that we took, and just some things we noticed about the park that were really efficient. There are small things on here, like the parking lots to the rides. The top left is the tram, which transports guests from their cars to the park, which, you want to park your car and get to the park as quickly as possible, and that just alleviates pedestrian traffic throughout the parking lot. The next is the parking lot, which you have crew members staff to direct you to your parking space. And the way that they do it there is that they have everybody line up in a row before they begin a new row to start parking the car. So you're not searching for a parking space because you have somebody to direct you to one. This here on the far right, this is just signage used to help guests know where they're going, to find what they need. This picture here was when we were standing in line for the bus to transport to another park. And this was really helpful because they have lifts, Ubers, but they also have the bus line. So the separation of lines is very distinct and efficient. And then there are 4 parks at Disney, and transportation is made easy because they have the Skyliner and the monorail to transport you, so you don't have to go get your car and drive there. And then this here on the right is just maps right at the front of the park when you walk in after check-in to help you locate everything in the parks. And they come in all different languages as well.
The efficiency key. By being efficient, it means achieving your results by putting the resources you have in the best possible way. Disney, again, is to create happiness. By using the efficiency key, it really connects everything together. And by utilizing these 3 resources, they really want to maximize the guest experience by accessing to parks and rides very easier, faster. The design and layout is really well constructed to meet the guest needs, and also it's easier to navigate through the parks. Magic bands. Now, magic bands are... Yes.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I had different experience with the magic band because I didn't have it. I was scared on the ride. It kind of flew off. But still handled like a G though. But I really didn't take notice until checking into the parks. There are approximately about 150,000 visitors per day, and that is a lot to handle. And right when you check in, all you have to do is scan your magic band to access into the parks with just a simple scan, and also as rides as well. And you can also link your bank account to your magic band to make purchases if you don't have your wallet, just like Pablo did. And then also it's also to find a family member as well, because as a parent, your number one rule as a parent is safety for your children, just like the first key is, which is safety. But this really ties into efficiency as well, because they have a GPS to track your magic bands for safely find lost family members or children.
There's also the DAS Pass, which you can link to your Magic Band to check in rides, and you can also use the Magic Band and the app, which are linked together, to add friends, so that way you don't lose your group if somebody has the DAS Pass. And this is also for when you check into the rides, the leader of who has a DAS Pass needs to be the one to check in the group first. And if they are not, then it notifies the staff member standing there that you need to take a step back and you need to let the leader of the group scan their Magic Band first before the members. So how the rides are efficient at Disney is that the staffs, they keep the lines flowing. The staff member, the cast and crew member will ask you most of the time, how many people do you have in your party? And if you had 8, for example, they'd be like, we want 4 people standing here and 4 people standing here. This is just to keep everybody in order before they enter the ride. And then there's also the single rider line and the lightning lane. The lightning lane is for those people who have the DAS Pass, and then the single rider line is used for single riders. As you can see, most rides usually have paired seating, so that really helps make sure that all the seats on these rides are filled. Next, the rides are designed to store personal belongings. So you can see in this picture here, we have our backpacks, which I was really worried where we were going to put our backpacks throughout the park, but you could easily fit them between your legs and feel comfortable still sitting on the ride. This is one of the fastest rides at Disney, and we could still set our bags there and they felt safe. And even if the rides didn't have room for you to put them under your feet, they usually had a bag nearby. And in this case, like on Tron, There was lockers, which you needed to have your magic band for to get your stuff out of the locker and to lock it. The My Disney Experience app. So the app has a lot of great stuff on it. You can navigate through the parks. As you can see in this picture, there's the wait time, so this helps you with planning your day. If you see that one of the rides you want to ride has a super long wait time, you can kind of plan accordingly and fill your time doing things that have a less wait time on them. Another good display of the app is you can also find anything in the drop-down menu from attractions to restrooms. So this helps again with locating stuff in the parks and making sure you can get everything you want to out of the parks while you're there. And then this here shows you can make hotel reservations and you can handle your tickets and passes, and you can even reserve dining through the app. So even if you're not directly standing next to the restaurant, you can still do this and set that time for later. And this is also good because this is how those with the DAS Pass can put in their reservation for a ride to relieve the time so they don't have to be standing in line for a long time. So how we can implement efficiency at Lone Star and what we already do really well, we have our Lone Star IDs, which is very much necessary throughout the entire campus. You need this to check out library books. You need this to check into facilities we have here on campus, and it's also just to keep records and to make sure that everybody who uses these things is a student on campus. And then we of course have the Pulse app, which is great because you can view all of your academic coursework and get notifications on your phone, and the My Lone Star website to do things like contact your advisor and student email. But we think that we can improve efficiency throughout Lone Star for these reasons.
This is LSC Connect, which is an app. It allows accessibility because every student has a phone. And as we advance in technology, we really need a phone in today's generation. And also it can collect data very faster and efficiently. With the right coding, we can have student preferences on activities and really tailor those events towards the students. And then creating connection. I never really had opportunity like this before in my life, and it really feels amazing. And I really want everybody to experience the connection that everybody like. I have amazing advisor, amazing staff, amazing teachers, and I really want this app to connect and involve more people just like me, given the opportunity to do something in their life. Even though you might not know it, I don't really know what I want to do, but I know I really want to be successful in my life. Because it's hard. I don't know, it's tough. And I'm still really trying to learn. Nobody really taught me anything like before college. And y'all really like inspired me to be the best I can really be. And I really want to show that, and I want other people to feel connected like I do.
Okay, so next up we have a bit more of a specific example. The gym at Lone Star has a really long sign-in process, and we think that it would be better efficient for that if it was just a scan and go process. You can place a scanner at the front desk for students to scan their ID, and if they don't have their ID, then they can type their number into the keypad below the scanner. It would just relieve lineup at the front desk and would allow I know we have community passes too for members of the community, so this would just relieve that kind of lineup at the front desk and allow people to access the gym in a more efficient way. So we're going to talk about our overall experience throughout the program and going to the parks. For me, it was really interesting it was my first time going to Disney, and to experience it through the program gives you that perspective where you're kind of experiencing it like a cast and crew member, because you have those people who are leading the sessions alongside you to tell these things that you might not notice as a regular guest, and then you get to experience all the fun of riding all the rides. And For me, I really liked meeting a lot of the staff there. They were all very fun, and a lot of people told me that coming to America was their dream, and it was like their dream to work at Disney, and that was really cool.
And to have that feeling to be a kid, like experiencing that I really haven't really experienced like in my childhood, really, it's really astonishing. And this program has helped me build skills and really helped me a lot of being like a man and what I want to do. Thank you.